All right, so you ever find yourself picturing a telephone switchboard operator? Like, I'm talking full-on vintage vibes. You know those giant clunky headsets, cords tangled like spaghetti, and someone dramatically shouting, "Operator!" into the receiver.
It's funny how those images stick with us, right?
Right, it's like, are we stuck in a black and white film? But we've got this whole stack of sources here about this, from career guides to AI insights. So let's dive into what a telephone switchboard operator actually does in 2023.
Okay, get ready for some surprises. The role has definitely moved with the times. It's about way more than just plugging in cords and connecting calls. Like this telephone switchboard operator. The complete career guide, this guide emphasizes that at its core, this job is all about customer service, problem solving, and even some serious tech troubleshooting. They're often the first voice a customer hears. That human face of a company, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's over the phone or, even through those online chat systems.
Okay, so the customer service aspect is huge. And speaking of which, the guide mentions something that I think makes everyone shudder a little bit dealing with those difficult callers. We've all been on the receiving end of a frustrating call. But imagine being the one who has to stay calm and collected.
It takes a special kind of skill set to navigate those situations. And the guide, it actually breaks it down in its FAQs. Imagine this. A customer is fuming because their internet is down, they're on hold for the 5th time, and they're taking it out on you. Right. So the guide stresses the importance of active listening, really trying to understand the problem, staying calm even when the caller isn't, and knowing when it's time to loop in a supervisor. It's de-escalation 101, but in real time, right? With potentially high stakes.
Talk about thinking on your feet. Though there's this unavoidable elephant in the room. The guy does mention that this career field is expected to decline because of, you guessed it, automation.
Yeah.
It's a little bittersweet, right? Mastering all these incredible interpersonal skills and technical skills, while technology is kind of poised to say, don't worry, I've got this.
Yeah, it's a trend we're seeing across many industries. And it really speaks to this bigger point about the importance of adaptability and transferable skills, which we'll definitely circle back to. But for now, let's focus on what a career in this field might actually look like for someone. Let's say someone's intrigued by this role, maybe drawn in by that flexible schedule the guide mentions. What can they expect in terms of growth and opportunity?
That's the million-dollar question, right?
Yeah.
Does a telephone switchboard operator spend their entire career, operating a switchboard? Or is there a path kind of beyond those initial responsibilities?
Oh, there's definitely more to it. And the guide maps out a pretty interesting trajectory, actually. At the entry level, it is very much about those fundamentals, becoming fluent in call handling procedures, mastering the ins and outs of the switchboard system itself. But as you progress to a junior level, you start taking on more responsibility, like troubleshooting technical glitches, maybe even training new recruits on those very same systems.
So you're not just answering phone, you're becoming the go-to expert.
Right.
The one who keeps things running smoothly.
And speaking of expertise, the guide's description of the senior stage really jumped out at me. It mentions things like mentoring new hires, spearheading process improvements, even working directly with vendors and outside tech support. That's not just answering phones, that's practically running the show. Exactly, you're essentially becoming a leader within that ecosystem. And it naturally paves the way for that final stage, stepping into a management role. Imagine overseeing the entire operation, analyzing call data to identify bottlenecks or peak hours, optimizing staffing, constantly looking for ways to improve efficiency. It becomes a very strategic position. However, there's a crucial caveat the guide highlights. There's a real risk of burnout, particularly in those earlier stages.
That's a really important point. So for anyone listening who might be considering this career path, it's worth pondering. How can those essential skills you develop early on, that customer service mindset, that ability to think on your feet, those technical chops, how can those translate into leadership potential down the road? And perhaps, even more importantly, how do you avoid getting stuck in a rut, especially with the shadow of automation looming?
Those are excellent questions, and they perfectly segue into our next set of sources. You see, those questions aren't just relevant to telephone switchboard operators. They're relevant to anyone navigating the job market today, especially with the rise of AI. Let's talk about those RoleCatcher articles you shared, particularly that intriguing title, Beat the Automated Recruiter. It seems that even landing a job, any job, is becoming more about outsmarting algorithms than we realize.
It's kind of mind-blowing, right? Here we are talking about a job that feels so fundamentally human, like connecting with someone on the other end of the line. But Even that is being touched by AI.
It's true. It's a reality that's becoming harder and harder to ignore. The job market, it isn't just about who you know anymore, or even what you know, really. It's more about how well you can navigate this landscape where algorithms are calling the shots.
It's like this hidden layer of complexity. It's kind of intimidating. So how does RoleCatcher actually help with this? Is it like AI fighting AI?
You could say that. Imagine like you've got a secret decoder ring for these algorithms. That's kind of what RoleCatcher does. It looks at job descriptions and helps job seekers figure out what the AI is looking for, the specific keywords, the skills, even how it's formatted to get that resume to the top of the pile.
So it's like learning the secret handshake,
Mm.
right? But instead of getting you into a club, it's getting your foot in the door for an interview, which makes sense, actually. When you think about it, it's like what we were saying before about telephone switchboard operators needing to learn new systems and adapt.
Mm-hmm.
This is like the digital version of that.
Exactly. And RoleCatcher, it actually takes it a step further. It emphasizes what it calls a competitive edge. Imagine being able to tweak your resume, your cover letter for every single job you apply for.
Oh, wow.
So you're hitting all the right notes for the AI, but then also showing off your unique skills to the humans doing the hiring.
That's like having a personal branding expert and a career coach all in one.
Mm-hmm.
But what really struck me about RoleCatcher is it flips the script. It's not just about helping job seekers stand out. It's about helping employers find the right candidates faster, too.
Right. Think of it as like a matching system.
Hmm.
Employers put in their needs, even those soft skills that are hard to describe. And then RoleCatcher searches for candidates who fit those needs.
So instead of sending out a million applications and hoping for the best, you can actually be found by the companies looking for your exact skill set.
It's funny. It's like that saying, it's not what you know, it's who you know. But in this case, it's more like, it's not just what you know, it's who knows about you.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And it all comes back to adaptability and always learning new things,
Right.
which has kind of been a theme in this whole deep dive. Whether it's getting good at using a new phone system or understanding how customer service is changing or using AI in your job search, being open to new tech and building your skills is so important.
It's like a constant mental workout, right? But with really good potential payoff.
Yeah.
And it makes you realize that even a job like telephone switchboard operator, which might seem straightforward on the surface, can be surprisingly complex.
And it shows how what you learn in one role can be relevant in a totally different field.
It all goes back to that saying, the only constant is change.
So true. And for anyone listening who's feeling a bit overwhelmed by all of this, whether you're just starting out or thinking about switching careers, it's exciting and empowering to know that the same skills that make a telephone switchboard operator, successful communication, problem solving, being adaptable, those are the same skills that are in demand everywhere.
Being a good communicator, knowing how to fix things, being resilient, but still being human about it. Those are things an algorithm can't do.
It really makes you think, we started with this image of a switchboard operator frozen in time, and now we're talking about AI and the future of work. It just shows you how those skills, even in a job that seems so specific, can be so important as things change.
Yeah, and it reminds us that those human skills, those are always going to be valuable.
Absolutely. So to everyone listening, if you're feeling overwhelmed by all this talk about AI and the future of work, whether you're just starting your career or thinking about a change, it's exciting to know that those core skills of a telephone switchboard operator, being a good communicator, being able to solve problems on the fly, and being able to adapt, those are the skills that employers are looking for everywhere.
It's about being human, right? And no algorithm can replace that.
Exactly. So as we wrap up our deep dive on the telephone switchboard operator, I'll leave you with this. In a world that's becoming more and more digital, maybe those qualities we talked about, connection, efficiency, that human touch, maybe those are the real keys to success. Thanks for joining us.